Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news.
We have an update on how home repairs are going for 89-year-old Mary Thompson.
The health minister defends government's job creation after the doctors' union claims one of its members was unfairly terminated.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, Charles Murphy officially became the new Commissioner of Corrections today amid opposition claims that it does not support his appointment because the process does not appear to be fair or transparent and 2 women were sidestepped. Well, during an official handover ceremony at the Department of Corrections today, National Security Minister Marvin Dames defended Murphy's appointment. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Due process was followed to the T, as you know, and I kept the press updated every step of the way.
Dames was responding to reporters' questions after PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell released a statement that the party does not support the appointment of Charles Murphy and that the process which led up to this appointment did not appear to us to have been fair or transparent. In his statement, Mitchell said Murphy superseded 2 women who were in line for the job and from all accounts seemed qualified for the job. He added, "There appears to have been partisan political motivations in making the appointment."
Yeah, I think we had as much as maybe, I think about eight candidates who would have applied for the position. Okay? It was narrowed down to 2 who actually met all of the requirements. And then from that 2, Commissioner Murphy came out victorious.
Dames responded to opposition claims following an official handover ceremony at the Department of Corrections Monday afternoon. During that ceremony, the new prison chief said corruption in any form would not be tolerated.
You can be assured that no form of corruption will be tolerated during my leadership. All staff members will be held at the highest ethical standard and accountability.
Murphy was selected from among 9 candidates and replaces Patrick Wright, who retired in August 2018. Murphy joined Her Majesty's Prison as a prison officer in August 1980. Over the past 38 years, he has risen up the ranks from corporal to commissioner. The new commissioner made his first inspection of the guards in the pouring rain. Just after he was handed the key, the floodgates opened. However, prison officers stayed on their guard. And despite comments made by the opposition, the National Security Minister said the day belongs to Murphy, whom he says should be celebrated.
Let's not dampen Commissioner Murphy's day, okay? Let's wish him the best because he is the commissioner for the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And let's wish the outgoing commissioner who would have given 40 years of service, he and his family, the very best.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Days after the coroner's court found that a police officer unlawfully killed 22-year-old Osworth Roll back in 2016, National Security Minister Marvin Dames suggested that the government is looking into the issue of police investigating police-involved shootings. His comments come days after Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson said the officer will remain on active duty because there's nothing that prevents him from not being on active duty. Ferguson also dismissed public concern for police officers investigating police-involved killings, asserting that Parliament has the right to change the law if it so desires.
We're considering a lot of things. Are we going to brush that aside and pretend as if it didn't happen? We're always looking at every incident is looked at, and we look at avenues and ways to which we can improve upon. I'm certain this will not be any different.
Roll's family has called for the officer to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Dames shied away from commenting on that.
Listen, after the coroner's court, AG would have spoken to that, the commission would have spoken to it. I don't have anything else to add.
A taxi driver who survived an horrific accident is speaking out. The incident unfolded early Sunday afternoon and left the cab driver thanking God that he survived.
Didn't think I was going to survive.
But survive he did. 31-year-old Jacula Cawley, a taxi driver of 3 years, escaped death and even serious injury after his vehicle collided with a dump truck on West Bay Street. Post-accident photos and videos went viral on social media showing a severely mangled vehicle that looks like it was passed through an industrial car crusher.
I just give thanks for life. You know what I mean? Thank God. You know, because I don't know, I don't even know, to tell you the truth, how I got out of it. But all I say is God has do miracles, you know.
We caught up with Cawley outside the accident and emergency section of Princess Margaret Hospital on Monday afternoon. After spending the night at the hospital, a barefoot and leg brace, Cawley says he only suffered a minor injury.
I just have a sprained leg.
Just a sprained leg?
Just a sprained leg, and I'm very thankful.
Cawley says it was around 1 p.m. on Sunday when he dropped off some passengers in his rented 2007 Lincoln Town car.
I didn't hit the back of the garbage truck, you know.
Bystanders and social media commentators were shocked to learn that the 31-year-old escaped the accident with only minor injuries.
But thank God, he's all right. He's inside. Well, he only complaining right now, a little minor aches and things. He's inside the ambulance now.
Many also questioned whether Cawley was driving recklessly, a suggestion he denies.
Wasn't speeding, just driving normal at the normal speed rate.
Police say the car Cawley was driving was completely written off. He says now he'll have to start his business from scratch, but he's sticking with the taxi industry.
That's my passion. I like dealing with the guests, and I'm an interactive kind of person, so yeah, that's my field.
Everybody on social media is saying, you know, that you need to head, the first place you need to head to is a church. What do you think?
I think I'll head there, for sure. I think I'll head there, because I know God has a calling on my life. He has to.
Two brothers accused of committing a murder back in March appeared in the magistrate's court today. 21-year-old Anton Laudamus in the black and blue striped shirt and 25-year-old Dwayne Laudamus in the blue striped shirt were charged with murder before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. They're accused of causing the death of Elroy Burrows on March 19th. The victim was on Wilton and Mackey Street when he was approached by a male who produced a firearm and shot him before speeding away in a silver Honda. The brothers, who did not have attorneys present, were denied bail, but were informed they can apply for bail in the Supreme Court. They were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. The brothers returned to court on May 16th for presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. A homeless senior citizen living out of his car now has a roof over his head. This as the community opened its arms to a blind elderly woman who was living in squalor. Jillian Gray has their story.
I am saying to all the people who reach out that I'm praying for them, and I thank them very much from the bottom of my heart.
Days after our news took viewers inside Mary Thompson's home, which is in a state of disrepair, the 89-year-old Freetown resident has received an outpouring of love and support from members of the community. Civic groups, churches, and Good Samaritans have either visited Thompson, who is blind, or called to see how they can assist.
We had several different organizations who came and saw the condition that she lives in, and they were really broken heart to really see it. Because when they came and they saw it, you know, reading it in the paper and actually seeing it is totally different. So we had a lot of persons who came and say they will try to assist. So I'm hoping that this is April, by May, I'm thinking at the end of May, we should have a house for Miss Thompson to live in where she could be comfortably laying off and giving y'all a interview from her new home.
Now, just a few feet away from where Miss Thompson lives, we met Mr. Leonice Louis, a senior citizen who used to live out of his car. But as you can see behind me, the car is gone and Leo has been relocated.
He's now with his son and his daughter, and hopefully in the next couple months they will find some place for him to be.
Louis' children, who had not spoken to him in over 40 years, were reunited with their father last week after our news shared the story of Louis' living conditions. His neighbor Rita Thompson said by telling Louis' story, a broken family has been brought together.
The son was really overwhelmed by how his father was living, so he was brought to tears, which touched a lot of the community persons who were there. So they were able to hold him. They didn't have enough space, but they made space for him until he gets some other living accommodation. But that was kind of a very heartbroken story for me.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands is refuting Bahamas Doctors Union claims that one of their executives was targeted for termination last week. Jasmine Brown reports.
While he was responding to the doctors' union's claims over one of its members being terminated, the health minister says the fact of the matter is the Minnis administration has created thousands of jobs. The Minnis administration has been criticized for slimming down the public service after a November 2017 labor force survey revealed that 2,500 government jobs were lost during the Free National Movement's first few months in office. But Dr. Sands says despite the criticism, jobs are being created.
If you look at performance since 2017, there's been an additional 20,000+ jobs added to our economy. That is verifiable data from the Department of Statistics, and I think it speaks for itself.
And Sands did not stop there, as he accused the former Christie administration of fluffing employment numbers.
If you look at their inflated claims of job creation throughout the entirety of their last administration, I think we have created as many jobs in 2 years as they were able to create in 5.
But according to the latest figures released by the Department of Statistics, the national unemployment rate rose from 10% in May 2018 to 10.7% in November 2018. Sands' comments came as the Bahamas Doctors Union questions the fate of one of its members who is no longer employed by the Public Hospitals Authority. She says the latest affront was the termination of one of the union's executive board members because he has an outstanding legal issue with the PHA. However, Dr. Sands insisted his contract was simply not renewed.
I spoke with the union president. We have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday. There has been no termination. The individual was a contracted employee, and his contract has expired, and he has not been offered another contract.
Sands says he plans on meeting with the union on Wednesday to discuss members' concerns. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come on Our News, BPL load shedding affects Eastern New Providence residents, plus how weekend traffic accidents impacted PMH's A&E department. The details after this.